Nokia was perhaps one of the most well-known companies of the early and mid-2000s, and I can confidently say that Nokia phones were most of us millennials' first phones. And in less than a decade, Nokia emerged from Finland to lead the mobile phone revolution. It rapidly grew to have one of the most recognizable and valuable brands in the world, but then suddenly, it's like it almost disappeared. Hey guys, what's up? Tech Flash here, and today's topic is the infamous mobile manufacturer Nokia, and I feel like a lot of people aren't really aware of what actually happened to it and why it suddenly almost disappeared overnight. So that's what we're going to be discussing today, and before I get started, please make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already for more similar content. Really means a lot to me. Alright, so at its height, Nokia commanded a global market share in the mobile phone of over 40%. While its journey to the top was swift, its decline was equally so, culminating in the sale of its mobile phone business to Microsoft in 2013. It is very easy to lay the blame for Nokia's downfall at the doors of Apple, Google, and Samsung, but we're ignoring one very important fact. Nokia had begun to collapse from within well before any of these companies entered the market. In these times of technological advancement, rapid market change, analyzing the story of Nokia provides a valuable lesson for any company wanting to either forge or maintain a leading position in the industry. With a young, united, and energetic leadership team at hand, Nokia's early success was primarily the result of a visionary and courageous management choices that leveraged the firm's innovative technologies as digitalization and deregulation of telecom networks quickly spread across Europe. But in the mid-1990s, the near collapse of its supply chain meant Nokia was on the verge of being a victim of its success. In response, a disciplined process was put in place which enabled Nokia to become extremely efficient and further scale up production and sales much faster than any of its competitors. Between 1996 and 2000, the headcount at Nokia mobile phones increased by 150%, while revenues over the period were up by 503%. This rapid growth came at a cost, and that cost was the managers at Nokia's main development centers found themselves under ever-increasing short-term performance pressure and were unable to dedicate time and resources to innovation. While the core business focused on incremental improvements, Nokia's relatively small data group took up the innovation mantle. In 1996, it launched the world's first smartphone, the Communicator, and was also responsible for Nokia's first camera phone in 2001 and its second generation smartphone, the Nokia 7650. Nokia's leaders were aware of the importance of finding what they called a third leg. I know, not a good name. The apparent third leg was a new growth area to complement the hugely successful mobile phone and network business. Their efforts began in 1995 with a new venture board, but this failed to gain traction as the core business ran their own venturing activities and executives were too absorbed with managing growth in existing areas to focus on finding new growth. A renewed effort to find the third leg was launched with the Nokia Ventures organization under the leadership of one of Nokia's top management teams. This visionary program absorbed all existing ventures and sought out new technologies. It was successful in the sense that it addressed a number of critical projects which were transferred to the core business. In fact, many opportunities that Nokia Venture organization identified were too far ahead of their time. For instance, they correctly identified the Internet of Things and found opportunities in multimedia health management, which is a current growth area. But it ultimately failed due to an inherent contradiction between the long-term nature of the activities and the short-term performance requirements imposed on it. Although Nokia's results were strong with the share price high and customers around the world satisfied and loyal, Nokia CEO Jorma Ollila was increasingly concerned that rapid growth had brought about a loss of agility to the company. Between 2001 and 2005, a number of decisions were made to attempt to rekindle Nokia's early drive and energy, but far from reinvigorating Nokia, and without them knowing, this was what actually set up the beginning of the decline. Amongst these key decisions was the reallocation of important leadership roles and the poorly implemented 2004 reorganization into a matrix structure. This led the departure of vital members of the executive team, which led to the deterioration of strategic thinkers. One very important element which Nokia failed to see was that reorganizing would be inefficient without paying attention to the resource allocation processes, product policy, and product management. Nokia became locked in an increasingly conflicted product development matrix between product line executives with profit and loss responsibilities and common horizontal resource platforms whose managers were struggling to allocate scarce resources. This conflictual way of working slowed decision making and seriously dented morale, while the wear and tear of extraordinary growth combined with the abrasive CEO personality also began to take their toll. This led many managers leaving the tech giant. After 2004, top management at Nokia was no longer sufficiently technology savvy or strategically integrative to set priorities and resolve new arising conflicts. Increased cost reduction pressures rendered Nokia's strategy ineffective and resulted in a proliferation of poor quality products. The following years marked a period of infighting that reorganization did nothing to alleviate. By this stage, Nokia was trapped by a reliance of its unwidely operating system called Symbian. While Symbian had given Nokia an early advantage, it was a device-centric system in what was becoming a platform and application-centric world. To make matters worse, Symbian aggravated delays in a new phone launched, as a whole new set of code had to be developed and tested for each phone model. By 2009, Nokia was using 57 different and incompatible versions of its operating system. While Nokia posted some of its best financial results in the late 2000s, the management team was struggling to find a response to a changing environment. Software was taking over hardware as the critical competitive feature in the industry. At the same time, the importance of application ecosystem was becoming apparent, but as a dominant industry leader, Nokia lacked the skills and inclination to engage with its new way of working. By 2010, the limitations of Symbian had become painfully obvious, and it was clear Nokia had missed the shift towards apps pioneered by Apple. In the mobile phone market, Nokia had become a sitting duck to growing competitive forces and accelerating market changes. The game was lost, and it was left to a new CEO, Stefan Elob, to draw from the lessons and successfully disengage Nokia from mobile phones to refocus the company on its other core business, which is network infrastructure equipment. So there you have it, guys. Nokia's decline in the mobile phone market cannot be explained by a single simple answer. Many people think that Nokia's demise was caused because of them missing out on Android, but there are many problems, including management decisions, dysfunctional organization structures, and deep internal rivalries that all played a part in preventing Nokia from reorganizing the shift from product competition to one based on platforms. Nokia's mobile phone story illustrates a common trait that we see in mature, successful companies, which is success breeds conservatism, which over time results in a decline of the strategy. Where once companies embrace new ideas and experimentation for more growth, we have to keep in mind that with success, they also become less innovative. Anyways, guys, that is the story behind Nokia's downfall. For those that weren't really aware of what happened to them, this should help you understand what actually led to their downfall. If you enjoyed the video, a like is much appreciated, and please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you to everyone that tuned into today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.